Hello wonderful people, welcome to the channel. It's Gail. It's a joy for me to come your way and share with you inspirational videos, educational videos that will help you in your journey. And obviously as a nurse, I like to share things around nursing that will help people in nursing, not just in the UK but all over the world. So today we're going to discuss something that cuts across board, and obviously I've been a nurse both in the UK and in Ghana, so I see this happening in both spheres, because obviously it's human beings that work in the nursing sector, and in all sectors it's human beings that are running it. And as human as we are, there are a lot of things that we carry on into our work, and there are a lot of negative behaviors that we tend to develop. And especially as nurses, these are a few of the negative habits that I've seen nurses do or portray at the workplace, which is something that we should be talking about and be aware of and try to minimize as much as possible. So that's what we're going to talk about today. So the first on my list is gossiping. I don't know if it's a lady thing, like something with women. I mean, obviously a lot of women do tend to gossip than men, but then you realize that even now we've got a lot of men in nursing, even though we need more men in nursing, but it's still largely dominated by females. And I don't know if this has contributed, because I think men also do gossip, but women gossip more. So you find that a lot of the times when people are lazing about, having got a lot to do on the wards, or just to release tension, and they sit down, have a cup of tea, coffee on their break, and then they have a chat about another person, usually another member of staff, could be a colleague, could be someone in the higher band, someone in the lower hierarchy, whatever, or someone who is not even a nurse at all. But then you find that these things really affect the working relationship that you've got, especially if it's like on a ward. And when people realize that the information about them is going around, is circling, like negative information is circling, it is toxic, to be honest, for you to hear that something about you is circulating, especially if it's something that you said to somebody in confidence, like to confide in somebody, and then they go about to spill it to someone else. It's nasty, like it doesn't show integrity. And if you're gossiping about someone, I mean, it's just pure laziness. We need to really be careful about what we're saying, especially if things are said to us in confidence or in secret. In like personal information, you need to make sure you're not spilling it and telling people who do not need to know. And obviously whatever you say might be interpreted differently. So whoever you're gossiping to might hear it differently, will spread it around. And it's just like the grapevine. You get things miscommunicated to different people, and then in the end somebody's reputation is at stake, is on the line, and you have contributed to that. So we need to make sure, not just the ladies, the men as well, that we have to find, I know like it's a way of bonding with other people, but then you need to find something else to bond over. You need to find something else to communicate about. You can talk about your own lives, you can talk about things that you're interested in with each other, but avoid talking about other people behind their backs, especially negative stuff, because they really do hurt feelings. Number 2 is being late. And I know this is something that's quite common, people take for granted, but it really needs addressing. It's quite disrespectful to consistently be late. And I mean, if you're late once in a while, it might be something beyond your control, a domestic problem or something with your car. Things happen and we can all be late at some point. But then some people are consistently, habitually late, and that needs to be addressed, because it's, as I said, it's disrespectful. And if you're a nurse that takes handover and gives handover, like if you take handover from the previous shift, then you being late obviously affects the staff from the previous shift, because they'll be waiting to hand over to you. That's like a waste of their time, just waiting for you to come on shift and take handover, which is not fair. Obviously they're tired at the end of the shift and they need to leave as soon as possible to go and have their rest, and it just slows down work productivity time, because It's work time that is being wasted on the road, or wherever that you are. And it's not just like coming to work. Some people just overspend their breaks and stuff like that. It's a really negative culture. And then when you have that, when you realize that there is a ward or a particular department that does that, you realize that people start to do it as well. So if it's not checked, like if somebody starts to do it and it's not checked, you find that other people are beginning to do it as well. So this is just a cue to managers out there that if you've got a culture of lateness on your department, you need to address it as soon as possible. Number 3 is not having adequate hydration and food. So this I find myself struggling with as well sometimes. When the workload is a lot, I tend to sometimes push my break further, just to try and finish a bit more things. But I really try to remind myself not to do that, because you need to hydrate yourself. You need that for your kidney, for all the cells in your body. If you're not taking adequate breaks to drink, your body is suffering. You're not getting that vitality and that energy to look after your patients. And what I find is, if I don't go for a break at the time where I need to go, I begin to get a brain fog. So I'm not able to concentrate on whatever I'm doing, and I begin to make mistakes. I get easily irritated and annoyed, and then so I'm like, it really isn't helping anybody for me to like try and extend the work I'm doing here and delay my break. So for you out there who's like a workaholic, you've got tons of workload on you and you really struggle to take your breaks, this is a cue for you. Don't break your back, don't kill yourself just because you're looking after patients. Obviously, you need to prioritize yourself first. You're the most important person to yourself, before your patients, obviously, because if you're not there, they don't get that care. So I do remind myself constantly, and I'm just trying to encourage you out there to stop and go for your break. And there's a saying that one of my colleagues, says on the ward when we're struggling to go for a break. She goes like, what cannot wait for like a 30 minutes or a 45 minutes break? So what is it that you need to do that cannot wait 30 minutes? I don't think there's any, unless somebody's crashing or it's an emergency, there's nothing that really cannot wait 30 minutes to be done. So obviously, in the grand scheme of things, you realize that it doesn't really make sense to like skip your break and do more work when those things can wait for like 30 minutes while you go on your break. So just remember that every time and go for your break. Make sure you're drinking enough water. It's quite dry in the winter, so make sure you're hydrating so that you're at your best, really, and you're feeling your best, and you don't come down with an illness because you're not looking after yourself well. Number 4 is with nurses who procrastinate and then rush at the end of the shift. So I find that, at the beginning of a shift, it feels like you've got a whole lot of hours, especially if you're doing like 12-hour shifts. At the beginning of your shift, you feel like you've got 11 hours or so to go, and it's like, oh, I've got a lot of time. So people tend to relax, have a chat with a friend, lazy about. Of course, they're looking after patients, but they're not doing it at the, at the speed that they would normally have to do to cover everything that needs to be done by the end of the shift. So if you are somebody that really struggles with keeping on time, and obviously sometimes there are difficult tasks that you need to do and you keep postponing it, like something that you struggle with, that you might probably need a hand with, but because you don't ask for help, you're just thinking about it and worrying about like doing it by yourself, and then you tend to push it. You push it until at the last minute you realize you couldn't do it and you have to hand it over. One of the things that I find frustrating is things that I know I could have done and I should have done, and I had the time to do it and I didn't do it, and I had to put it on the next shift. It's really unfair. So if it's something that you're struggling with, do ask for help from somebody. There should be somebody on the ward or in your department that knows how to sort that out or to help you out with it. Try to get that help, and it really helps to keep yourself organized and focused. Do a lot of prioritization and planning at the beginning of your shift. It's better to do everything that needs to be done and rest at the end, rather than resting for a whole lot of time and then rushing at the end. You get anxious. It's not good. You make mistakes when you rush. So it's not good on you, it's not good on your patient, it's not good on your colleagues. So try and make sure you're working at a steady pace throughout your shift and getting the help that you need whenever you do, just so that you're not overwhelmed with things and not procrastinating them until the very last end. Number 5 is staff performing horrible manual handling procedures, ending up with a sore back or, you know, very horrible injury. A lot of people want to get on with things, so they just want to hurry through procedures, or like with moving patients and moving and handling stuff, you know, picking objects. And I don't know, I think the statistics is overwhelming with the number of nurses who retire with back problems. The rest of their lives, they live a very low quality life because they've got constant pain. So now is the time to make sure you're practicing proper techniques with moving patients, like your bed is at the right level, you have the correct number of staff to move a patient, you've got all the equipment to help you move a patient, and you're doing the right things, because you don't realize, I mean, when you're young, you feel like you've got a really strong body, and then as you grow, you realize that all that you used to do in your youthful age catches up with you. I was just having a chat with an elderly staff member, and then, you know, he suffers from arthritis, he suffers from a lot of like joint stuff and muscle stuff and bone stuff. A lot of it are like you know, autoimmune. He had no control over, they just happened to him. But he did say that a lot of it is also because of the kind of job he used to do when he was younger. So he was into a lot of lifting. He did a very manually tasking work. He wasn't a nurse earlier, but then he realized that all of that strain that he put on his body when he was younger and doing all of that physical work is now having a toll on him now, when he should be relaxing and having a good quality life. So know that whatever you're doing to your body, you're going to get a payback a couple of years from now. So make sure you're giving yourself the best possible care, even though you're looking after patients. Another thing that I find that, you know, nurses struggle with, and a habit that needs to be addressed, is people wearing their emotions at work and causing an environment of disruption and, you know, awkwardness. Obviously, I know, you know, when things happen to people, it's kind of hard. You know, everybody deals with struggle, especially at home or in their own personal lives, differently, and some people are not able to dissociate work from personal life. So it's really about getting a balance in there, and you can't be stoic. You know, if you're going through something at home or in your personal life, it will show up in a way in your work. Some people are quite good at masking it up, which is not like very healthy. Obviously, if you need help, you need to speak to people, that the relevant people, professionals, to help you through it. But then most of the time you find that a few people will have really real disruption at work. They won't be able to focus, then they get irritated at everybody, they're sort of snapping at colleagues, they're not giving patients the best sort of care, and it's all because they've got issues in their personal lives and at their home. I mean, if you're not mentally, you know, in the right state to come to work, it's best to take that time off. You know, take that time to get better in yourself, get the help that you need. It's better for you to do that than to come to work with all of that emotional hurtful feelings, and trying to you know, look past that and to give help to someone else, like a patient, might be difficult for you. So just analyze yourself. If you're somebody that really struggles to disconnect personal life from work, then it's worth talking to somebody, especially if you've got a difficult time in your personal life, so that can be addressed, and so that your work colleagues, obviously you get a lot of work colleagues who are very supportive and will help you, you know, through whatever that you need help with. They will signpost you to, you know, the relevant people that you can talk to. But it's not fair on them if they're constantly having to walk on eggshells around you, scared of, you know, infuriating you or irritating you. Now, another thing I'm going to talk about, which is a bad habit, is people taking on too much work than they can. I know that everybody needs money, especially in this time of economic hardships, but you find that, you know, a lot of people do take on so much work, and they're at work nearly all the time. They're working back to back, they're working long days after long nights and whatnot. which is really detrimental to your health. Night shifts are not, you know, healthy, and they're not a normal thing for like the human cycle. But obviously, because the services need to run, we need to do a night shift. So if you're somebody that's like on constant nights or like frequent nights, you need to really give yourself that break in between, because it's just for the sake of your mental health and for your physical health as well. If you're earning all of that money and then you invariably have to spend it on your health, or you're just earning it to dispense or disperse it to other people so that they can have fun and enjoy, or to even invest in, you know, something, a project or something, and then you end up having an ill health, or, you know, a really detrimental condition that money cannot even solve. I mean, what's the point really? What is the point? I mean, you're trying to make money, but you need to respect your body. Without your body, you won't be able to work. So you need to, I don't know, people really need to sit down and give their body some respect. You don't just use your body because your body's able to do that for you, you know, because your body's able to take you for shifts. You don't just push your body through like that. It's gonna pay you back and bite you back in a very painful way. So you really need to give your body that treatment and that attention and that care, TLC, that it needs. Don't override your body. The cells in your body need their rest. Your brain needs rest, and you need to give it the rest that you need. Your health is worth more than any amount of money that you can have. So you need to treat that with utmost priority. Your health is first, and then the money. And I think people need to realize this and stop taking on too much. The final thing I'm going to talk about is nurses who think about their own selves, and I would say are quite selfish in their departments and do not normally help out. So what you find is, as I said earlier, you know, in the previous video, in my hospital, the wards do, like on the wards, and I think that's what you get everywhere, nurses do get a number of patients that you're looking after, and sometimes some nurses will be like, okay, these are the people I'm looking after, and that's my lot for the day. I'm not going anywhere else, no matter who needs help. That's a really selfish way to work, and you're not being a team player if you do that, because you find that there are times when you've got patients with very low acuity. They don't demand a lot of input from you as a nurse. They're normally fine on their own, and then you find that you've got a colleague with very sick patients that need support, and you need to step out of your own space to offer help to them. Some of these nurses who are struggling may find it difficult to come and ask you for help, but you need to step in and offer help to them. That is what we're all there for. You know, we're there to support each other. You haven't just got your quota and you're just going to stick with it. One day it's going to turn around. You're going to have the sicker patients, and you're going to expect people to offer you help. And I've been there before, and that's why I'm saying it's really important that when you've got that chance, and even if you're busy, you can find that 2 minutes or 5 minutes where you can offer that help to a struggling colleague to sort of keep his or her head up during their shift. Be there for your colleagues, offer them help when they need it, and trust me, what goes around comes back around. Every department that you are, if you observe closely, you realize that people that offer help are the ones that are most helped when they need help. So I mean, not just because of that, generally it's just great to be that helping hand that a colleague needs. So guys, I'm going to end here. Obviously there are a ton of things that go on in the health sector that are not very good, they're not brilliant, need to be addressed, but then these are the few that I'm going to come with today. Just let me know what you think in the comment section. What other things have you noticed on your department or on your ward that needs to be addressed? Let's talk about it in the comment section. Kindly smash the subscribe button and the like button, and share this video if you feel like someone will benefit from it. So I'll leave you guys here. Be good. If you're a nurse, make sure you're not doing any of these things on the ward. It's a new year, turn over a new leaf. Be good. I will see you again in my next video. Until then, peace out.